Mr. Johnson, you were charged, you were charged with harassment. You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
And judges, you know the details of this case are
Quiet.
just
Just read it.
officer reviewed a police report from February 4th, 2025, after the officer spoke with the complainant. The complainant stated the defendant, her ex-boyfriend, called the complainant and stated that he was going to kill her and then showed up at her job. The defendant was approached by security and fled the scene prior to contacting the complainant. On February 24th, 2025, the defiant officer called the complainant. The complainant stated that on February 7th, 2025, she told the defendant via phone call to stop harassing her, and the defendant told her he did not give a fuck. On February 12th, 2025, the complainant received an email that stated, "Skip pussy bitch, I just love you." The defendant also sent a 20-second pornography video. The video showed a female laying on her stomach, nude, and the video zoomed in on the female's vagina, with fingers being used to spread the female's buttocks to expose the inside of her vagina. The complainant recognized the hand and the fingers in the video to belong to the defendant and recognized the room. The complainant stated the defendant had previously emailed her on March 16th, 2024 from the same email, sending a picture of himself at work. On February 18th, 2025, the defendant emailed the complainant 6 times. On February 23rd, 2025, the defendant emailed the complainant 9 times. On February 24th, 2025, the defendant emailed the complainant once. The complainant changed her phone number on February 22nd, 2025, because she kept getting phone calls from unknown numbers, and when she would answer, the call would hang up. The officer texted a photo of the defendant from his Texas driver's license, and the complainant identified the defendant.
Pornography video that was sent.
We don't know the ID of the female in the video.
So, Your Honor, I think it would probably take some more investigating to figure out the identity of that female. I don't know if it's recognized her, but that is.
She would say whether she recognized it was her. I would imagine that there's a whole host.
That's a felony.
Yeah,
If it's,
we haven't spoken to her directly yet, Your Honor.
it's just because it's been in past that, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to order you not to have any contact with the complaining witness. I'm going to put a GPS monitor on you so I know where you are at all times. If I find that you go anywhere near this person, if I find that you try to have any communication with this person through any means, I don't care what it is, if it's Snapchat, if it's Facebook, social media, smoke signals, whatever it is, I will put you in jail. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my community at all costs. I don't care who you are. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm now entering into what's called a Matchett order for emergency protection. This is a court order that identifies Ms. Turner as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works. If you violate this court order, the state can and will probably file a violation of protective order. It's one of the worst cases that you can pick up. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we need to talk about bond.
Your Honor, the defendant works for Enterprise. He's an IT specialist. He's been working there for over 5 years, and he's got ties here. He's been living in Houston for over 5 years, and he has child support for 3 children that he takes care of on the weekends. They're with the baby on the weekdays, but he does work, and he is working, and so we would ask. He's no threat. He's not shown any threat previously, and he does have strong ties. So we were requesting a bond of $1,500. We have the bondsman here today who.
I would be unopposed to a bond of $1,500 if he were to have a GPS monitor with an exclusion code.
I'm
So-
going to order it.
Yeah, so I'm unopposed to that as long as he has the exclusion code.
Bond will be set at $1,500 then. You will get no more warnings, Mr. Johnson. You're in the free world now. Act accordingly. If I find that you do anything, it's not going to go well. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So you have a bonding company here now?
He's speaking.
Okay. He'll have to meet with Shaw first for all the bond conditions. Then after that, we can release him to the bond. Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Thanks, Joe. Come up, Mr. Harrison. Was today his regular setting or was it a setting that we brought him in because he has bond violations?
This is regular setting.
Okay.
We had accepted the plea offer and we're ready to move forward today before I got that email.
I have here that you have bond violation, Mr. Harrison, in that you were continuing to use alcohol. You are entering into a probation now, and I'm warning you that if you test positive again, I can amend your conditions and I will to put you into a rehab facility. And I can take you there kicking and screaming, and I don't care what is going on in your life. But if you continually show me that you cannot stop, then I'm going to do it my way. And I promise you, you're not going to like the way that I do it. It is a minimum of 9 months in treatment if you respond well. Do you understand? But it could be inpatient facility for up to 1.5 years of your life spent with me in jail. Do you understand? If I didn't get your attention enough last time, heed this warning now, because you will not get another one. You are charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. They have agreed to reduce it to a first. And I hope that you thank them, because thereby you are now not going to do 5 days in jail, because that would be the mandatory minimum for you if you plead on a second. But I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to keep you on a very short leash. And one false move, they're going to file a motion to revoke. And if they prove it to me that you violated this probation, get ready. For you to complete it, what are you pleading to is 180 days in jail to be probated for 15 months. As part of the conditions, you will do a repeat offender DWI education class. 2 victim impact panels. You must also do a TRAS. This TRAS is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess other conditions, which in my guess they're probably going to, you must fulfill those. It can be so much as intensive outpatient treatment, supportive outpatient treatment, because you're continuing to drink while you're on bond for this case. It may very well say that you may need inpatient treatment. I don't know, but that's what you're agreeing to now. Do you understand? No drugs, no alcohol, random urinalysis. You must maintain a guardian interlock and a $100 one-time donation to MAD. One more thing that you must recognize here, that there is a requirement for a no breath test refusal. If you are driving in a car and you get pulled over, an officer asks you to submit to a breath test, you must submit to it. If you fail to, then they're going to take you to jail and you're in violation of this probation. Do you understand? You give up many rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you are not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty to this offense, it will go on your record. This is number 2. What happens the next time, Mr. Harrison? If I had one strand of hair, every time someone told me that it wasn't going to happen, I would have flowing, beautiful locks. You need to know what happens if you get pulled over again and you get charged with another DWI. What happens next time? You will be facing a 3rd-degree felony. You'll be facing a minimum of 2 years in prison, a maximum of 10 years in prison. If I were you, if you even have a sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car because you were taking a humongous risk. You tell me now, well, it's not going to happen. You told me you weren't going to consume. Here we are. We've got you on a bond violation. Goes in here, goes out here. The only thing that matters are actions. Your words mean nothing. Actions speak louder than words, Mr. Harrison. How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated, guilty or not guilty? I'm going to find you guilty. If you violate this probation, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. I'm going to put you in jail. I'm going to bring you back out here in Orange. We're going to have a conversation as to whether you violated this probation. And if you did, you were looking at 180 days in jail. Do you understand? Okay. So the other thing that we have to do is the fines and fees for the DPS surcharge. It's a first. So it's a $3,000 fee. But let me ask you this. Is this a 0.15 or above?
Your Honor.
And is it alleged? Is it alleged on the information?
I believe it's alleged to be 0.15.
You should be walking out here with a $6,000 surcharge, but because they reduced it to a first, it's now a $3,000 surcharge. You must pay that. in addition to the court cost. If you don't, for every $100 you owe, you will sit 1 day in jail. Do you understand? How do you plead to the offense? I will find you guilty. I'll send you to it. Good luck, son. Thank you, Ken. All right.
Judge, are you ashamed of no driving license? He has the portable device at this time.
Okay.
His license is suspended until February 18th.
Okay, yeah, we need to do a no driving affidavit. You are not allowed to drive. I don't care what you're doing in your life. You'll be signing an affidavit with me today that you're not driving. I hope you're not driving at all. Take it seriously, Mr. Hunter, because if I catch you driving, get ready, okay? If he wants to drive, he needs the interlock before he even gets into a car driving. So we have to amend conditions to be able to do that. So he can't just start driving. You cannot just start driving. You are required to have an interlock in your car. There is a paper that we sent to DPS so that every officer in the state knows that if you drive, you're supposed to have an interlock. You get pulled over and you're driving and you don't have that interlock, they're going to take you to jail. Do you understand? Okay, talk to Kim. She can help you out when that time comes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kim. So the 3,000 plus the court cost, who's gonna pay? How's it going? How's jail?
Not good. I think everybody should go there for 7 days on the first DWI. I think it would fix a lot of things for a lot of people.
And I routinely say this to people, Mr. Fox, is that I would say, I don't know the true statistic, but usually when people go to jail, that one time, most times that one time is scary enough that it's self-correcting and they wise up that they don't ever want to go to a place like that. It stinks.
There's things that.
So, yeah, I know there's no air conditioning, but jails are jails. I mean, it's not the Holiday Inn. It's not Club Med. It's not Disneyland. It's happy and the most wonderful place in the entire world, right? But you got to understand is that we have routinely let you out over and over and over. And you make us promises. You tell us you're going to do things. And then we come to find out later on, it's a completely different thing. You have what? 2 open DWIs, right? Is it at least 2, right? You're on probation with us. And then you pick up a felony as well. At some point, I have to say when. We can't continue. Sometimes we have to protect people from themselves, their own worst enemy. And I'll tell you, when we first did the TRAS, I told you how reluctant I was to go with the other agreement that you guys had worked out, because I wanted to do SATA, because usually our clinicians know what's up. They know the right way
I understand.
to go through things. And you want me to let you out for the holidays, but that really scares me.
I just want my bond reduced, sir. Even my wife and we're getting divorced wants me home for Christmas. I'm spending Thanksgiving in there. And yes, you're right. I call it jail therapy. I don't know what
Look,
else.
let's not talk about the case at all. I don't want to talk about the case, but
Yes, sir.
I'm bringing you out
I
just,
just want like you said, number one, I can't drive. You're going to have an ankle monitor on me. I can't go anywhere.
but we still ask you to do things and you refuse to abide by bond conditions. Every time you tell me and you make a promise, you know how it goes, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, really shame on me. And that's where we're at. You tell me things that you're going to do. You tell me that you're going to abide. And when you get out, you still do whatever you want to do.
I never spent 28 days in jail, sir, and this is definitely a wake-up call. I don't know any other way to put it.
And you've told me that story before.
I've never been in jail before, sir. I've never once been in jail until this time, and I don't need to know how to explain it because I know you probably.
The good news is this, Mr. Fox, because there is light at the end of the tunnel, that Mr. Sims is working hard to try to resolve these things once and for all, so you don't sit there and linger. The idea is to do the program that we had initially said. The only problem is the case at a county. That's the holdup, I think, at this point. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have Morgan reach out over there. We're going to have James reach out to your lawyer on that case to see if we can come up to a global resolution once and for all. And hopefully we can do that by next week. I don't know but I'm hoping. I don't know what the other county has in store, what they want, but hopefully we can get on the same page. And if we let them know this is our intent to do SATF, hopefully we'll see what happens. But I'm sorry, Mr. Fox, but look,
I put myself in this mess.
and quite frankly, you scare me. Every day, someone dies from a DWI in our county. Every single day. We'll set it for about mid to late next week. Hopefully, we can have an answer for you because, like I said, I don't want you to just sit there and just linger. We're going to try to work hard to get this thing closed as quick as possible for you. Because the problem is, the idea is to get you help as quick as possible, not to sit there. So we're working hard for you, though. Okay, Mr. Fox, thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Sims.
I've got a case from a month or two ago. He bonded out and needs bond conditions.
You mind bringing him up?
Mr. Bledsoe, I just sent him down. Give me one moment, Judge. Thank you. Hey, what's Stephen's last name?
Our bailiff?
Yeah.
Garza.
Carson?
Garza. Mhm.
Okay. Occurs to me that it's somewhat unprofessional to say, hey, Steve.
It's okay.
Well, yeah, I talk to him every day, but still. Yes, sir, no, sir, on player side. All he's doing is setting the rules he's going to follow, okay?
Yes, sir.
What's the name?
Bledsoe, evading arrest and terroristic threat. He was in custody because he had a pending felony in the 228. So he's bonded out on all. The evading, I think, is 12 yards per the officer.
So I see that on 10/17 of 24, he picks up a felony assault. And 3 days later, he picks up a terroristic threat, and then he picks up an evading arrest. And they give him PR bonds on these cases? Is that what happened? And
He bonded out since his last setting. I didn't check to see if there were PRs or not, Judge. I know that he had to pay money in felony court.
yeah, it's just, I'm not dealing with PR bonds on this. He picks up 2 new cases if it's the same. Well, hold on a second. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You've now picked up 2 new cases. You picked up a terroristic threat. You picked up an evading arrest.
I will say our cases are the new cases. So I wouldn't call them
Alright.
new. They're just cases. Well, he picked up the felony, and then afterwards he picked up these 2 misdemeanors.
I don't understand why he's coming here in December when he got a bond in October. How on earth is it?
He was in custody, I think, on the felony.
Oh, I see. Okay, and then he bonded out of the, right.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Please, what happened?
On October 19, 2024, officers dispatched to a minor crash at a residential home in Harris County, Texas. The call described a male at the location crashing his motor vehicle, then pulling a gun and was trying to fight people at the location. When officers arrived at the location, they observed people at the location pointing at the defendant. Upon contact with the defendant, the officers introduced themselves as Houston Police and told them to stop. The defendant then walked into his residence and came back out approximately 2 minutes later. The officers instructed the defendant to come towards them, but the defendant began to evade on foot from the officer the second time. The defendant ran approximately 12 yards from the officer before placing him in handcuffs. A person search on the defendant revealed he had a prior arrest and an active felony warrant. Upon contact with the complainant advised the defendant was driving up and down the street in his car and crashed. The complainant stated the defendant began to tell the complainant he was going to shoot him and kill him. The complainant advised the defendant then began to reach into his waistband and kept saying he was going to shoot him. The complainant feared for his life and felt threatened by the defendant's statement.
I will say, gun was never found. No charges where the gun were ever filed. They charged him with terroristic threat. They would have charged him with ag assault if the police had believed that a firearm was used.
Mr. Bledsoe, let me make something perfectly clear to you. I will do everything in my power to protect my public at all costs. And I don't care if I have to make your bond $2 million. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my public at all costs. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what, nothing. I want my county safe. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me that you're not going to have any weapons whatsoever. And if I find that you have a weapon, I can have a contempt hearing. You're looking at 180 days in jail every time if you're caught with a gun. Do you understand? I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is going to be in your system as well. I'm ordering you not to use alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to test you like crazy. Do you understand? What do you do for a living?
I work for Leland Airmark Bakery.
Okay, that's what you need to concentrate on. Working a lot so that your time is occupied. When you have too much time on your hands, you become self-destructive. Do you understand? Do you have, thank you. Do you have a Texas driver license? It's a yes or it's a no. Then you're not allowed to drive. On this affidavit, you will also be promising me that you're not going to drive. Do you?
Do you have a different state's driver's license?
City?
He asked if you have a Texas driver's license. Do you have a driver's license from any other state?
No, I'm from Houston.
Okay, sorry. I'm just making sure you didn't have Louisiana or something.
Not drive. I am also putting on this affidavit that you're not going to drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You're looking around, you're just heed this warning, Mr. Bledsoe. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I totally understand. I only have one off day. I just sleep all day.
Did I hear him say that he had an objection?
No, most definitely not.
He was
No.
just asking me a question.
Okay,
No
just
objections.
don't use. Stay out of trouble. You're in enough hot water as it is. The thing is, Mr. Bledsoe, is that a lot of people make very, very poor choices when they're out there in life. And sometimes that choice makes it to where you will live the next 40 years in a 6x9 box. And I'm going to tell you now, I've read have you been to prison before?
Nope.
I want you to hear me. I've read stuff about what happens in prisons, and it had me in tears. It was as bad as could possibly. If you think of your worst nightmare, it's worse in our Texas prisons. They don't give a rat's behind about you, and you will be passed around like a proverbial doll. It's awful. Believe me, it's not worth it. Don't have a gun.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Judge, did you want the contact and referring from as well?
Yeah.